It is so rare to see a game be released free to play while being extremely fun and extremely polished. Apex Legends released a few days ago and immediately took off, amassing over 10 million players already, and of course is bound to continue growing. Honestly, it's one of the most fun games I've played in a really long time, and it is really refreshing. Everything that went into this game just works, from how it was made to the way it was released. It's really something, and if you haven't given it a shot yet, I highly suggest to try it out. I know some people are tired of battle royales, as it looks like it's just a quick cash grab, just try to hop on the bandwagon, but this one does things differently. It's still the regular old drop from a ship and be the last one standing, but Apex does just enough to make itself stand out, and I really have to hand it to Respawn because they took a few risks and each of them paid off. Who knew that classes had a place in a first-person battle royale? Who knew that having a respawn mechanic would work in a mode that's all about surviving with your one life? When I first saw the classes and abilities, I was a little skeptical, but they're all really well balanced, and gunplay is still front and center, but each of the heroes' abilities and ultimates make each fight fun, whether it be Gibraltar throwing down a big bubble shield that no one can shoot in or out of, or Bangalore throwing down smoke to break lines of sight, or Pathfinder using the grappling hook to quickly reposition. They make each fight unique and different, and each of them work on this map, which I feel doesn't get enough praise, and I'll talk about that later. And as I said, gunfighting is still what's most important, as these abilities just help alter the way fights go, but never make you feel like you lost just because someone had their ultimate, like in, say, Destiny or Overwatch. I think it'll be really interesting to see how players learn to combine their abilities and ults, and see what other abilities make their way into this game as Respawn adds more legends. This change to the formula is the first thing that caught my eye and set itself apart from other BRs, but Apex does more. Its level of polish and attention to detail is what makes this game so fun and just easy to play. Respawn makes sure that information is always available to you, from the incredibly helpful ping system to the little callouts the legends make in a match to the HUD. I don't want to go on about the ping system for too long since everyone has already, but if you don't like using a mic or have teammates who don't use a mic, you can communicate a whole bunch by using one button. Tap it to mark a location, tap it twice to mark enemies, look at an item and call it out for your team, or let your team know if an enemy has been in a location, and so much more. You can just tell that Respawn put a lot of time into it, and in a game where currently you have to play with a team, it makes communication so much easier, that is, if your team decides to listen. I wouldn't be surprised if other BRs bite from this and implement it into their games. Honestly, it doesn't even need to be a BR, a bunch of multiplayers could benefit from this. Other than the ping, there's other little things that just let you know what's going on to make it easier to play. For example, other BRs sort ammo by caliber, where Apex sorts it by name and color, tan or orange for light ammo, teal for heavy, green for energy, making it easy to quickly loot and drop ammo. Looting and equipping anything is also so efficient. The game auto-attaches attachments to your gun. It'll tell you beforehand if that attachment will fit either of your guns, even if it's holstered. The game just won't let you accidentally equip anything worse than what you have, so if you have a purple shield and try to pick up a blue shield, the game just tells you that your shield is better and won't pick it up unless your shield is already weak. And this really helps to keep you moving so that you're not looking in your inventory every time you pick something up. And since you're spending less time looting and going through your inventory, you're spending more time fighting, and the fights in this game are just really enjoyable. I see a few people saying that the time to kill is too slow, but I like where it is now. There are hardly any insta-kills in Apex, unless you have no shields and get one pumped, or get shot in the head by the Kraber, which is the care package only sniper. And there's no sort of rocket launcher, so you can always react to being shot at. You hardly ever absolutely melt someone in late game because purple and gold shields protect you well, but because of this, fights can be really aggressive. Shields and health are plentiful, and you can pop shields pretty quickly, so playing the long range peek and pop doesn't do too much and will end up being a battle to see which team burns through their shields first, which team pushes poorly, or who will the third party focus on. But I like the aggressiveness this game promotes. The guns feel great, the movement lets you position yourself so easily, especially the sliding and wall climbing. Utilizing movement feels so fluid and rewarding, especially if you wipe a team or come out of a situation you should have lost. Most of the guns have a purpose, even though I personally feel like 2 of them are just to have some bad loot thrown in. And what I mean by having a purpose is that there's not a bunch of clutter or a bunch of weapons in the game that do the same thing, and I like that. And all of it goes hand in hand with this wonderful map. Admittedly, it's not the prettiest to look at, but it's great to fight in, with tons of cover, hills, cliffs, ditches, water, and buildings, making each fight different from the last and allowing you to try and outplay your enemies using everything that you can. And when you're not in combat, traversing the world is really enjoyable. It's not just sprinting until you find loot or a team to fight. The sliding and jumping make it fun to move around as you climb and build momentum from sliding down hills. It makes getting from point A to point B enjoyable, and it isn't as boring as just sprinting. The last thing I want to say about the gameplay is that the respawn mechanic, for lack of a better word, is innovative. I really like it. I mean, you don't have to jump through hoops or anything to bring someone back to life. If they've been finished off in a fight, get to their loot within a minute, grab their ticket or banner, and then take it to one of the multiple revive stations where they'll be airdropped in without any loot. Honestly, it doesn't even have any major effects on anyone else in the game other than bringing another player or 2 back to life. I don't notice when other teams do it anyways, and it just makes the game more engaging. If you go down and die, you have a reason to be invested in the match still, rather than just backing out or sitting on your phone or something, and you don't have to wait 15 minutes to play again if you're playing with friends. I could go on and on about the gameplay, but there isn't much that hasn't already been said. Apex Legends is something special. I'm genuinely having fun with this game, and that doesn't happen all too much, since this last year was filled with a bunch of above average games, and there was nothing that really blew me away besides maybe 2 titles. I actually look forward to playing Apex while I'm at work and put more hours in than I should have. It's honestly the only game I've played since it's released. As of recording this, I have 64 games played and about 20 wins, and the wins still feel rewarding for now. I'm sure that by win 100 or so, they won't feel as satisfying, as that's just how battle royales are, and I'm hoping that Respawn can figure something out to reward you for winning other than just XP, like having a certain amount of wins give you another crate or crafting materials, just so players will have something to play for. We know for a fact that Respawn will keep working on this game, but I'm not sure how frequently the game will be updated, so we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. I'm personally hoping for a fairly regular update schedule though, because I really want to keep playing this game. I also really like the style this game has. It's one of the first things I noticed. The competition Apex Games theme is just fun. Character selecting isn't bland, there's personality there. The loading screen tells you who's this match's champion, who has an XP bonus on their head if you eliminate them. There's banners all over the map highlighting that match's champion and showcases their stats and badges while switching to the current kill leader, which is just so cool, and it's nice to see you and your friends being represented as the team to kill. The game isn't trying to be this hyper-realistic tactical shooter. The design is sort of like a charming mix of Titanfall and Borderlands to me, and it just works. Despite what the fearmongers and grumpy people say, I like the characters and don't mind their traits and characteristics, as honestly, they wouldn't play any differently to me if they were all robots or masked heroes. One thing I want to say though, is that this game literally came out of nowhere. Rumors surfaced that Respawn was dropping something on Monday, and then it released, and I fully expected to play something that was like a beta, something unfinished, because I'm just so used to playing unfinished games. It's become normal nowadays, especially now that the games as a service model has become so popular. And I mean, we're all a bit skeptical of EA, especially with the way they handle Battlefield 5, which is part of the reason I expected a game that was rushed out of the door. But this is different. This is something that I'd love to see more of. Even if this game was half as good as it is now, I wouldn't be upset because 1, I didn't even know about it beforehand and wasn't hyped up for it, and 2, it's free. Usually a game from a bigger developer is announced so far ahead in advance to build up hype and get pre-orders, and then there's a release date and the game has to be finished by then or everyone will be upset. So games are just released half-baked with missing features. But with Apex, it looks like they took their time and actually finished the game and tested it and made sure that it was something they were proud of. And I'm fine with this type of release. It doesn't necessarily need to be announced a few days before release, but maybe a month or 2 before release when you're sure that your game is ready. Another thing that I said literally the day it came out was that if this game was being hyped up as this free-to-play Titanfall spin-off for months, I probably wouldn't play it, and there will be a bunch of backlash towards Respawn and EA for not making another true Titanfall game and for trying to cash in on Battle Royale. I don't really have anything against Titanfall. I liked Titanfall 1 and really enjoyed Titanfall 2. I thought it was a good game, but I wouldn't have been excited for another. When I went into this game, I didn't think anything of Titanfall until I saw the weapons and movement. I feel like EA and Respawn's whole strategy here worked. Make a quality game, hype it up a few days before release, and then take it to the top of Twitch. I'm really hoping that this becomes massively successful so that maybe we'll see this being practiced a bit more, as then we'd have 2 extremely popular free-to-play games dominating the scene other than League and Dota. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. I just really wanted to talk about this game as I've been having a great time playing it. I do think that we just need to have fun with this game while we can and not focus on comparing it to every other Battle Royale just because this one plays differently. Apex and Fortnite are 2 completely different games, and I don't think anyone will ever completely kill Fortnite. I think Fortnite will just die out on its own after a very long time. I do enjoy Apex much more than Fortnite, Blackout, or PUBG currently. I also think that I'll feel this way even after the new game hype dies down, just because it is a really great game and I trust Respawn to continue to improve and evolve it. But I do want to hear what you guys think, so talk to me down in the comments and tell me how you feel. Are you having fun with this game or are you not impressed? And as usual, if you agree with me or just like the video, feel free to like this video, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.